In this video, I want to answer the question, what is mentoring? Mentoring is rather like giving someone a helping hand, except the helping hand in this context is your knowledge, your experience, and your wisdom. The first mentor in recorded history was the goddess Athena, who took the role of the trusted friend of Odysseus, the king of Ithaca. When Odysseus went to join the Trojan War, he left the education of his son Telemachus in the hands of his close friend Mentor, in whom he trusted Telemachus' education, asking Mentor to impart everything that he knew to Odysseus' son. It's the name Mentor that gives us the word that we use today. So, a mentor is a source of wisdom, experience, advice, guidance, and support. A mentor can also act as a role model and also as someone who shows their belief in the potential of their mentee. However, this support should not extend outside of the direct mentoring relationship. It is not the role of the mentor to advocate for their mentee in another context. It's important that the mentor allows the mentee to stand on their own 2 feet and to succeed on their own merits, relying only on guidance and advice from the mentor. One of the leading thinkers on mentoring and mentorship is Professor David Clutterbuck, and he offers this definition of mentoring. Mentoring is a learning relationship between 2 people. It requires a range of human qualities, such as trust, commitment, and emotional engagement. It includes a range of skills, including listening, questioning, challenge, and support. Mentoring has a timescale. In some contexts, it is a lifelong relationship. In others, it may be a few months. In 2004, David Clutterbuck coined a handy acronym that describes what mentors do. They manage the relationship. They encourage and nurture. They teach, offer mutual respect, and respond to the learner's needs. Types of mentoring. In the world of business and organisational management, there are many forms of mentoring that you might encounter. Let's have a look at 4 which stand in for the broad range of variations that you might find. First is developmental mentoring. This is where the mentor helps their mentee to learn and develop and to fill out their role. Often, developmental mentoring forms part of an organised scheme within the organisation, and it is perhaps the commonest form of mentoring here in the UK. Sponsorship mentoring is more about helping the mentee to move forward in their career. It can include an element of promotion by the mentor of the mentee's capabilities to the wider organisation. It's far more common in the US than it is in the UK. Next, we have executive mentoring. This is about helping executive mentees, rising executives in the organisation, to learn and understand their leadership role and how to perform it effectively. Often it focuses on the things that mentees find the hardest, which include things like understanding and navigating the political environment of the organisation and thinking about their long-term career and how to craft their next move. Finally, there is a fantastic variant known as reverse mentoring. This is where a younger, less experienced mentor supports and guides an older, more experienced mentee. The role of the mentor here is to help the mentee to understand aspects of the culture or the technology with which they are less familiar than a younger mentor. This is particularly valuable in organisations where there is a big gap between senior management and their age and their experiences, and junior management and the staff who will come from a very different demographic. So the question we have to ask is, why work with a mentor? We might expect that the benefits of working with an older, wiser counsellor are obvious, but I don't want to assume that they're obvious to everyone. Indeed, a mentoring relationship can be both beneficial and challenging to both the mentee and the mentor. Often, the mentoring relationship can be the start of a long-term relationship between two professionals, and it can have a long-term career benefit to the mentee. The mentor can provide impartial advice, guidance, and encouragement. They can develop leadership and motivational skills. They can help with solving problems and making decisions. They can guide and help to develop social awareness and political acumen. They can improve self-awareness, motivation, and self-confidence. And they can facilitate a review and reflection on experiences. So, why be a mentor? Because on the face of it, the mentee gets the benefit and the mentor gives up their time. But as I've said, the relationship can be beneficial and challenging for the mentor too. And there's also an important aspect here in paying back for any mentoring and support and guidance that the mentor has received earlier in their career. Mentoring is a way of paying it forward to the next generation. But beyond that, most mentors find the relationship deeply rewarding. After all, we often teach best what we most need to learn ourselves. And not only do we learn from the process, but it can be a pleasure to offer guidance to a willing mentee. Mentoring can enhance your own job satisfaction, adding a completely new dimension to what you do. It can create professional relationships that link you to the next generation. It gives you a chance to reflect on your own experiences and perhaps understand them more deeply yourself. And it can also drive your own reflection on how the organisation works and how its politics plays out. It helps you develop advanced communication skills like listening and questioning. And ultimately, it offers great rewards, firstly, in seeing somebody else develop and grow, and secondly, as an affirmation of what you are capable of and how far you've come in your own career. So the next obvious question is, who are ideal people for mentoring roles? I think the ideal mentor is anyone who cares enough to want to do the job. Yes, there are lots of skills to gain and there is training available in many places, which I do recommend. But fundamentally, if you care enough to listen carefully to somebody, to impart your knowledge and experience openly, and to ask them good questions, you will make a good mentor. Fundamentally, mentoring is about the relationship that you build. But of course, some of the personal qualities that you want to bring to your mentoring relationship are things like your knowledge, your experience, and your understanding of the world. Your patience and a non-judgmental attitude to the person you're mentoring. But at the same time, you also need a determination to challenge robustly, but in a respectful manner. This needs the ability to listen carefully and to ask precise questions. It needs a clarity of thinking and a broad perspective, and an ability to avoid jumping to conclusions or blowing things out of all proportion. You need good business acumen and good political acumen too, and probably a good sense of humour. So, in summary, what does mentoring really require? A big chunk of enthusiasm and a small dash of maturity. It's worth thinking also about what a mentor needs to focus on, and for my money, there is one thing above all else, and it's summarised by Timothy Galway's performance equation that he spells out in his book, The Inner Game of Work. In that, he suggests that performance is equal to potential minus interference. And that interference comes both from the outside world, from the other people around us, and also from the stuff going on in there. And it is the mentor's role to help the person reach their potential by assisting them in eliminating as much of the interference as possible, by navigating the external world, finding resources that they need, and dealing with the politics, which will challenge the external interference, but also by helping people to grow in their confidence and motivation and enthusiasm to challenge the internal interference. And of course, mentors can also boost potential by providing the mentee with additional knowledge, additional insights, additional ideas from their own experience, thus giving the mentee something that they didn't come to the relationship with. That combination of increasing potential and diminishing the interference will, of course, improve the mentee's performance. So let's end up with 2 quick-fire sections. I'm going to start off with 10 top tips for mentors. Number 1, keep in touch. Number 2, always be honest. Number 3, don't judge. Just listen, and you might learn something. Number 4, don't give advice unless your mentee asks for it. Number 5, don't expect to have all the answers. Number 6, help your mentee to find the resources and support they need from around the organisation. Number 7, be clear about expectations and set boundaries for the relationship early on, and periodically review those expectations and those boundaries. Number 8, don't become attached to the issues your mentee brings to the conversation. Stand back from them and allow your mentee to explore them and to take their time over it. Number 9, always respect confidentiality. And number 10, if the relationship gets a bit rocky and starts to falter, hang on in there. You're the one with the experience, so build the relationship back up. And now, my 10 top tips for mentees. Number 1, invite and accept challenge willingly. Number 2, be open with your mentor about how you find the relationship is working for you. Number 3, be positive about yourself. Number 4, after each conversation, do something. Number 5, trust your mentor. And number 6, speak openly with them. Number 7, take a few risks. Number 8, think about ways that you can develop yourself outside of the relationship and what new ideas you can bring into it. Number 9, recognize that your mentor is human and don't expect more than is reasonable from them. And number 10, do not become dependent upon your mentor. At some point, you need to discuss an ending of the mentoring relationship and a transition into a more operational, professional relationship. Please do give this video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it or learned from it. I'll be making loads more great management courses videos for you, so please do subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of them. I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video, and in the meantime, keep learning.